Good morning. I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet here with Jim Cramer.
Hey, Catherine, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I had worked at Mark Sebastian. He's so great for real money. He gave me an off the charts last night, which said basically don't think it's going to go straight up from here, Jim, which is based on the VIX. Right now, he's looking darn right. Now, he's required reading, Mark. I have all these people that from Real Money who are my chartists, and I went to him over the weekend. And I said, "Look, I got to know the VIX popped to 30. Is that the top?" And he said, "No, we're going to go up, but then we're going to go down." And here we are going down. I don't know how severe it will be, but there's cross currents everywhere, and that's what I'm focused on today.
That makes sense. And what are you looking at specifically in the market?
Well, I mean, look, we had some loan growth from Comerica and from First Horizon that was, I regard, as subpar. These are great regional banks, so that's not a good sign. We had housing starts that were anemic, okay? We had a Vulcan Materials downgrade, that's aggregates, that's building new roads at Bank of America to a sell. That was very significant. And then, of course, the piece that everybody's buzzing about, which is the Home Depot Lowe's downgrade from Credit Suisse. And when you see Home Depot go down 7 off of a research call, what that says is people are nervous. So I say let things come in. The standouts should be tech, because the tech numbers have all been good, with the exception of IBM. But IBM has become quite an outlier, Catherine. They're not executing the way they should.
They released earnings yesterday.
Yeah, and it was disappointment. And one of the things that they've been doing, they have their legacy business. The legacy business is kind of holding on. Some people would say it's better than expected. And then they have this, they call it the incumbent business. And then they have the so-called fast-growing business. But some of the fast-growing, including cognitive, we're watching was not fast-growing. It's transaction processing. Lisa Ellis at MoffettNathanson really starred here. She predicted a sell. I was critical of her sell because I felt that if you looked at the pastiche of what was growing with IBM, it would just get better and better, and it didn't. So she was dead right. There's this consulting business. It's supposed to be agnostic. It's competitors, Accenture. Accenture's taking share. It was a quarter where it shows you that it's a work in progress, and at this point, we didn't think it's going to be a work in progress. It could be a good fourth quarter, but I do say that when I criticize Ellis, I then had to come back to her and say, listen, you correctly nailed the weaker part. I do a lot of work on IBM. I've done work quarter after quarter, and I was disappointed to see part of the cognitive solutions just slow down. That I needed that to go faster, and it didn't happen.
Now today, the big news of the day, of course, is Canada legalizing recreational cannabis.
We just had Tilray on, and I think some people could say that I ambush Brendan Kennedy because I said it's a very speculative stock, but it's a $13 billion market cap. And he said there'll be several companies that have a $100 billion market cap. Now, at our in this cannabis area, in our unbelievable teach-in where we had an extended interview with, as you were there, with Bruce from Canopy and with Mr. Newlands from Constellation, Bruce Linton basically said, look, there's going to be a couple companies, but remember, he's the only one with huge cash. Now, Tilray was able to raise $400 million to convert, but cannabis is a far bigger, more intensive cash thing, and that's why when Constellation anointed Canopy, that pretty much put up a moat. Rob Sands is a visionary. He realized they had to take the cash flow. They've got giant cash flow, borrow some money against it, give it to one company that he thinks the best, and let that one company dominate and see if the other companies, whom I think he would regard as cowards, like a Coca-Cola, and I like Coca-Cola management, but Anheuser-Busch, whether they're going to step up. And nobody did, which is really fabulous. Now, Novartis is a partner of Tilray, and their medical is very good, but it's going to be recreational. It's going to be excellent. Now, can Kennedy pull it off? Look, someone's going to pull it off, but the companies that I am recommending right here into the teeth of the sell-off, which I candidly did predict, I said that these stocks would peak 2 days ago, and then they go down. It is Canopy, because Canopy's got the cash. A huge percentage of their market cap is cash. They've got the game plan. They've got the management. Constellation will take care of all the food and beverage, mostly beverage, and they will handle the medical. They're doing a huge number of studies on sleep, replacement on pain, for veterinary, for your dogs. It's a great story, and now I'm out there saying this is the one to buy. For those of
I loved your interview with them. And I think that Canopy it's a really big business. And one of the things that he really pointed out that I thought was really interesting was the distribution and how distribution will be key.
Right, and how little distribution there is.
Exactly.
And Constellation, this is a great point you raise. What is Constellation famous for? Marketing. It's very difficult to market because you have to do guerrilla marketing because you have to have the same. I mean, if you go to tweet.com, you'll see what they have. That's Canopy. But they have the best distribution in the world.
Yeah.
So if you get, well, in the U.S., I don't mean to say the world, but they're going to be able to do a lot from the international. Their distribution in this country, obviously Modelo and Corona, is so good. As someone who owns a bar and is about to open a restaurant in literally in 10 days, I would tell you that this is the way you want to go. If you are a cannabis company, you want to affiliate with Constellation because Constellation knows how to advertise. Look at those great Tony Romo ads. By the way, the NFL's up, so that's going to help them. And Constellation knows the rough and tumble distribution business. And I have been continually impressed by that company. Continually so.
As someone who owns a bar, can you see yourself owning like a cannabis bar?
I talked about it with my wife.
Yeah?
I said, one day, do you think we'll own a stoner bar? Because if you remember what they said to me, what they were talking about, they said, listen, it's probably not going to be a regular bar. Remember, he said there'll be stoner bars, and this is why you got to go watch the interview we did. If you want to understand cannabis, is it
it's
available?
It's going to be live at 11.
It's going to be streaming?
It's going to be streamed live at 11.
I got to tell you, I was very proud. But yeah, they're talking about stoner bars. I went home to Lisa. I said, should we do a stoner bar? She goes, look, we got the longshoreman to open. Don't put any more pressure on me. It was quite heated. She says, don't put any more pressure on me because she's there every single day. Columbia Heights, 215 Columbia, it's near Alma. Every day she's working to try to get the logistics right. I think today is the beer taps, 18 beer taps. And so, yeah, we're deeply concerned that we could lose business to a stoner bar one day.
I want to do a real quick quiz with you
in
honor of the cannabis being legalized.
Sure.
So just really quickly, give me definitions for these. Sativa.
Sativa? Oh my God, okay. Sativa is a little more fun than indica, than couch. Indica you used to do some sleeping. Sativa you do to get a little buzz. Wow, you're asking me the tough ones.
CBD.
CBD is very good. It's going to be legal. It is actually legal if it's from hemp. After the Farm Bill passes in November, we'll all be able to use CBD, and CBD is best as a something that will alleviate pain. Again, CBD is a larger category, good for sleep, good for pain. Particularly icy hot is never going to have a business after we get to CBD oil. There is CBD oil right now. We had a company that showed you some great CBD oil. It's really good for sleep. It'll put Linest out of business, but it doesn't have it has no buzz. Canopy, when you get CBD, there's no buzz. You can have all you want in a drink. It ain't going to do jack for you other than make you tired.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, and you don't use edibles are typically they have THC. THC is what I was asking the guys whether is that like the proof. If you have 5% THC, is that like a 20% proof? 10% THC. If you have 50% THC, that's like drinking Sterno.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because one of the questions that you had for the guys.
They call it into couch. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. One of the questions that you had for the guys was whether or not the cannabis-infused alcohol beverages would have alcohol in them.
And they didn't think they're going to do that.
No, which is really interesting.
Now, there was another company there that had drinks in California that looked like buying Fresca. And that was THC-infused Fresca. And if you remember, Constellation said we have all sorts of flavors that we can introduce. So Constellation, that tie-up was brilliant. And you can see it's very interesting. Now, if you saw Rob Sands in the same room as Bruce Linton would be just like when worlds collide. Sands is probably the toughest business person in consumer packaged goods. But one of the things that's really interesting, Catherine, Bruce Linton was from Newbridge Network. So for those who remember the telco era, that's where he's from. But about half dozen years ago, he realized this is going to be big. Took 11 months for those two companies to get together. 11 months.
That's a long time to have those business
they have to do
negotiations.
it dance. It's difficult. And remember, you're a regulated business, so they have to be in the United States. So you have to be very careful. But I was giving Tilray a little bit of a hard time just because, Rob Sands is going for game, set, match. He's $4 billion to Canopy, and you should go look at their deck. And by the way, how about how hilarious that video is that I made people watch?
The Snoop Dogg video?
Snoop Dogg.
I loved it. It was great.
Fun. You just go to the website. Well, it's going to be in ours.
It's going to be streaming.
It's just so much fun. Anyway, I'm fascinated by the industry because it is going to be gigantic. I've been saying that it's a $500 billion disruption, but that does not necessarily mean they'll make $500 billion.
Marv from Twitter asked me, and he's also an Marv.
Hey, Marv.
He's from Action Alerts Plus too.
Oh, good.
But he had a quick question for me.
And we got a big conference call tomorrow. So,
Huge conference call. We got to talk about that in a second.
Like
Marv was wondering why you're not, why the portfolio isn't in cannabis. And I'm thinking it's hot money?
We were in Constellation. We had a nice hit. I've debated going back to Constellation or Canopy. It's a charitable trust, and I was thinking, honest to God, I've been trying to debate this myself and thinking that maybe we have to go back to Constellation, which is going to one day, I think, as we talked about at the conference, have a huge part of its market cap be Canopy. So you're absolutely right. Marv's right, too. Thank you for that.
All right, guys, we're going to talk more about cannabis. We're going to talk about the AAP call and all of that, yes, on our Action Alerts Plus video, which will be up next. Thanks for joining me, Jim. Have a great day, everyone.